Right, because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
When that Netflix series come out, it's a rapper coming out with a Netflix series. I won't say no name. I don't want to spoil it for him. I'm not a friend of his. I don't want to, spoil something he got going on. But I will say this. He's doing a phenomenal job to the point where I was in awe.
So you have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
You've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Sean Diddy Combs was still filming himself a week before he got arrested, months after the feds had already raided and taken all his tapes. And somehow that footage got to 50 Cent, who's now put it in his Netflix documentary.
Right now, the internet is full of talk about new leaked footage that appeared online. This video was recorded just a few days before Diddy's arrest in September 2024. In the clips, he is seen guiding a cameraman, talking about serious business matters, giving instructions to his lawyers, and reacting strongly when fans try to approach him. People are calling these secret tapes, and many are shocked that the footage ended up with 50 Cent's production team, which has created a big wave of questions. Things got even more serious when Katt Williams spoke about it, saying this situation proves what he had been warning about for years. In this video, we will explain what is inside the footage, why 50 Cent used it in his documentary, and why Katt Williams feels it proves his earlier claims. We will also look at reactions, legal concerns from Diddy's team, and claims that the footage was never meant to be public. Along with that, we will see how people from the industry, former staff, and others are reacting to it all. Let's start by understanding how this leaked footage was first discovered.
It's hard to say because I don't want to spoil what's coming up. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say this. Like I said, it gets deeper and deeper, and the more that come out, the more intriguing the story gonna be. All I want to tell people is, when that Netflix series come out, it's a rapper coming out with a Netflix series. I won't say no name. I don't want to spoil it for him. I'm not a friend of his. I don't want to, spoil something he got going on. But I will say this. He's doing a phenomenal job to the point where I was in awe. You get what I'm saying? I was presented the opportunity to work with him, but like I said, the money wasn't enough for me to leave my couch. But he's doing a phenomenal job, man. There's so many people that's hurt behind this. There's so many people that it's guys that can't come out because of their image. You know what I'm saying? That'll make your eyes go like, whoa. I know about the slams, the Stevie J. I'm in a circle. I know about y'all. Y'all confirmed. I'm so happy. It's more. It's more. But I'm so happy it finally came out. A lot of stuff people don't understand Puffy endured. A lot of stuff Puffy went through when he was younger. And I'm gonna leave it at that. Like I say, when this DVD come out, y'all check it out, man. We watched the Icon fall.
So you have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right? You've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day? Obviously, I know what was going on there, but is there a reason you never did?
I'm just not with all that freaky Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal. You come to the 90s, and Kiki D said they paid him to kill Tupac.
Yeah.
So look, like, you have the craziest accusations. You had TMZ created a docuseries. They went to Tubi, but the series is saying the downfall of Diddy.
You're one of the first spokespersons in entertainment to really call out people and kind of have that authority in that to be able to call people out. I mean, which is it's pretty amazing. You're kind of, in some ways, draining the swamp of Hollywood. And
Yeah, I don't have a support system. I don't have a support system of a peer group of artists that I require to do what I'm doing. I've had to be on my own from the beginning. So I don't necessarily have a responsibility to behave a certain way according to them. You know, and look, if I didn't have an award-winning director on it, if I hadn't put the right people in place to produce it properly, I would understand why they would question it.
When Andy Signori from Popcorn Planet first reviewed the clips, many viewers were surprised by how clear they were. These were not blurry or low-quality recordings. Instead, they showed clear scenes of Diddy moving around New York City, talking to people, giving directions, and going through his daily routine. The surprising part is that this was filmed by a cameraman hired by Diddy himself during a federal investigation. Just 6 days before his arrest, he was still allowing and even instructing the cameraman to record city views, rooftops, and private conversations. Nobody expected such detailed footage to exist, and even fewer expected it to appear in a 50 Cent documentary.
Sean Diddy Combs was still filming himself a week before he got arrested, months after the feds had already raided and taken all his tapes, and somehow that footage got to 50 Cent, who's now put it in his Netflix documentary. Needless to say, Sean Diddy Combs' lawyers are not too happy. Well, we got the clips, and you're gonna want to watch them before they might get pulled elsewhere. I don't know if this footage was legally obtained. I'm not sure. I'm gonna give you my speculation as well as my shock that somehow all this footage Sean Diddy Combs was filming before he got arrested after the raids got into the hands of 50 Cent, one of his arch nemesis. And now 50 has put the footage in his Netflix documentary. The mogul spokesman, Diddy spokesman, says they're deeply concerned that video shot days before the arrest is in this new documentary produced by his rival. How on earth did 50 Cent get a hold of footage of his lawyers? Now, one could say, isn't that privilege? How is this footage allowed? Now, you could also argue because someone's filming, there's other people there, you lose privilege. I've learned that in my appeals case. I have not filmed any of my legal meetings on purpose because if you film it, well, then it gives up your privilege in a way. So I'm assuming that's how they're getting away with this, because he's filming conversations with his lawyers, whether they knew or not. That footage, now that it's gotten in the wrong hands, or I guess different hands, isn't a longer privilege. I want to get a lawyer on it to confirm it.
In the clips, Diddy is seen walking around under pressure, speaking to his lawyers on speakerphone, asking for hand sanitizer after meeting fans, and saying that his team is struggling with the investigation. There are moments where he discusses planning, moments where he seems distracted, and moments where he looks stressed and unsure. At one point, federal agents can even be seen in the background on a rooftop, which makes the footage even more intense. This raised a big question. How did 50 Cent get access to this? Diddy's team says it was stolen and shared without permission, and they also claim it broke lawyer-client privacy. However, some legal experts argue that because Diddy allowed the camera to record even legal discussions, he may have accidentally reduced his own privacy protection. The fact that 50 Cent now has this material has made the situation even more controversial because of their long rivalry. This is where the whole situation starts to become even more heated.
Curious, they've intrigued me. This is a case that I feel like I'm sort of over it. He lost. He keeps getting himself in trouble in jail. I'm a changed man. No, you're not. No, you're not. Even this past Thanksgiving, he's sucking up to all the fellow inmates as he organized a Thanksgiving dinner for 1,000 people. Everything he does is to benefit himself. But in the most narcissistic, dangerous type of way. And he's getting caught doing more and more stuff that's keeping his time longer and longer in prison. Stuff he said he wouldn't do. But that's what this man's always done, is lied. Cassie's a liar. Cassie's a liar. She's ruining my reputation. And then the footage comes out. I'm deeply, blah, 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 blah. I'm so sick of this guy. The fact that he thought it was wise to be filming himself, literally after the raid, that just shows this guy really considered he was too big to fail. And that's a motto I've learned in this industry. No one is too big to fail. No one. Everyone who's ever fallen, think about it. Everybody has fallen. They get back up, or sometimes don't fall as far down, but nobody is too big to fall. And that's a lesson Sean, I don't think, still has learned.
The documentary Sean Combs: The Reckoning is not just about accusations. It is a 4-part series that mixes interviews, unseen footage, and the timeline of Diddy's legal troubles. It is directed by Alexandria Stapleton and produced by 50 Cent. The documentary shows Diddy as someone who carefully controlled his image for years until things started falling apart. The leaked footage becomes the most powerful part of the story because it shows a very different side of him. He is not performing for the public or appearing on stage. Instead, he looks like someone dealing with pressure, confusion, and fear about losing control. 50 Cent has hinted at these issues for a long time, sometimes joking and sometimes speaking seriously. He says the goal of the documentary is to highlight real stories and give a voice to people who are not heard. The series also includes interviews from former bad boy artists like Kalena Harper and Aubrey O'Day, ex-security members like Roger Bonds, and assistant Capricorn Clark. Even Bad Boy co-founder Kirk Burroughs is involved in a legal case. All of their experiences help explain the situation shown in the footage.
Who is Kirk Burroughs to Diddy, and what does he have to say?
Kirk Burroughs is the co-founder of Bad Boy Entertainment. You know, when we think of Bad Boy, we think of Diddy, but in the very beginning, when it was founded, there was Kirk, apparently, who was such good friends with Diddy that he was Justin's godfather. And you see him in these old photos, and it's kind of been erased in, recent history. But Kirk alleges something similar to what Little Rod said, of being best friends with him, being his protector. And slowly their situation started to change, that he alleges that Diddy kind of barged into his office one day and made him hand over or sign away his 25% stake in Bad Boy. And Kirk, again, doesn't get into specifics in the doc, but he alleges, I think he uses the word sexually deviant abuse was happening between him and Diddy at that time. While there's abusive kind of work relationship or a toxic work environment that he was working through. So it echoes a little bit of what Rod said about how abuse looked when it wasn't a girlfriend. It was a kind of work friend.
And I mean, so Kirk Burroughs did file a civil lawsuit that got dismissed because it was outside of the time period where you could file it. We also hear from Joy Dickerson Neal, who also alleges sexual abuse, but she says something else as well about it being filmed. Can you just explain that?
Yeah, Joy Dickerson Neal filed actually right after Cassie did in November 2023. Her accusations go back to 1991, and in the documentary and also in her civil lawsuit, she said that she learned through a friend that the alleged assault was recorded. And not only was it recorded, but Diddy was playing it for people at parties. Upwards of 60 people saw this tape of her being assaulted, she claims. Her mother wrote a letter to Diddy's mom, Janice, kind of saying, I have to tell you about what your son has done to my daughter. And I only learned of this when I walked into her bedroom one night when she was screaming, crying in a nightmare. And that's how she learned what happened. It's just a devastating accusation. And you can see how much it still affects Joy in her family, she says, to this day.
I mean, she talks about seeing a poster of him in the street and vomiting in the street and having a visceral reaction to him. You know, once again, all allegations. She does have a pending civil lawsuit against him. It is a really emotional part of the documentary, and she is breaking down in tears, recounting what she says happened to her, and talks about, not having much growing up and just having her pride and their self-respect, and almost that being stripped away by what she says happened to her. Again, we asked Diddy's legal team to respond to the allegations made by Kirk Burroughs and Joy Dickerson Neal. They said they wouldn't be commenting on individual claims, but said the documentary was built around a one-sided narrative led by a publicly admitted adversary, and it repeats allegations without context, evidence, or verification. In a media statement earlier this year, his lawyers said anyone can file a lawsuit, adding, no matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never sexually assaulted anyone, man or woman, adult or minor.
50 Cent also included 2 jurors from Diddy's 2025 trial, which adds another layer to the story. Their comments show how different the public image is compared to what happens in court. When the leaked clips came out, many people started to understand why 50 Cent made this documentary. Inside the entertainment world, reactions were mixed. Some people were shocked, while others said they were not surprised at all. A few even wondered if more hidden recordings still exist. One major question everyone asked was why Diddy recorded so much of his life. According to some insiders, he liked documenting everything because he saw it as building his legacy, but in this case, that habit may have worked against him. The footage shows him stressed, controlling, and worried, which is very different from his public image as a confident music icon. For many fans, this was the first time seeing this side of him.
A new Netflix docuseries about Sean Diddy Combs is making headlines for its never-before-seen footage of the music mogul in the days before his arrest. Now, Combs is threatening legal action against the streamer for airing the unauthorized footage. Behind the series is Combs' longtime rap rival 50 Cent and director Alexandria Stapleton, who sat down with NBC News' Chloe Malas ahead of tonight's release.
Tonight, Netflix releasing never-before-seen video of Sean Diddy Combs filmed just days before his arrest on charges of trafficking and racketeering in 2024. The footage is part of a 4-part docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, premiering Tuesday. Behind the explosive documentary is Combs' longtime rival, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and director Alexandria Stapleton. How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I feel most journalists would not disclose their sources.
The recordings give viewers an intimate look at Combs' mindset ahead of his criminal trial, even conversations with his legal team. Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps. What was he intending to use it for?
I have no idea what he was doing that for.
I mean, you're talking about a man who films himself doing everything and has for decades. I think he wanted someone to be behind the scenes with him.
Combs' team firing back in a statement to NBC News today, saying the Netflix so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece and that they relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. His team sending a cease and desist to Netflix. Netflix referring NBC News to a statement from Stapleton in which she said they lawfully obtained the footage. After a nearly 8-week trial, Combs was acquitted of the more serious charges of trafficking and racketeering and sentenced to 50 months in federal prison for 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. Combs' team going on to slam Netflix for partnering with 50 Cent, who they say has been his longtime public adversary, something the Grammy winner denied, citing his own casting choices in his popular Stars franchise, Power. One could watch this and think that you really hate Sean Combs.
Why would they be thinking that?
Because of the things that you post on Instagram, because of the...
Look at this. And let's stop for a second and do say that I hated him enough to hire his kids. And we've never done anything to each other. So it's just competitive energy and things that you say about other artists while you're in hip-hop culture.
This documentary is one of several that has chronicled Combs' rise and fall. But Stapleton says theirs is different.
There's a lot of new information. No one had ever really put it together like that before.
For 50 Cent, he says he feels a sense of obligation.
Well, if I didn't say anything, you could assume that all of hip-hop culture is comfortable with his action.
And Chloe Malas joins us now in studio. Chloe, you've seen the whole documentary. What else can you tell us about it?
So there's a lot more of this never-before-seen footage, Tom, of Combs having really private conversations with his legal team, and you really get a sense of his mindset ahead of his criminal trial, which is really fascinating for me because he never did any sit-down interviews ahead of the trial. So you finally get to see what his strategy was and how worried he was. But clearly, perhaps he didn't think that he was going to go to prison because he's filming this documentary. You're also going to hear from Aubrey O'Day. She was in the girl band Danity Kane as part of making the band. She has an explosive allegation against Combs. And then there's quite a bit that focuses on the murders of Biggie and Tupac, and people from Combs' inner circle raising a lot of questions. People are going to also have a lot to say about that.
Diddy's legal team quickly responded by saying the footage was stolen and shared illegally. They suggested that someone close to the videographer may have sold it or passed it on. The timing became even more suspicious because it appeared after federal raids and investigation activity. This led to more questions about whether the footage was taken during the investigation or later obtained through legal channels. Many artists who used to attend his events have stayed silent since the documentary came out, likely to avoid involvement. The leaked footage made the situation even more sensitive because it is not just based on claims anymore. It is now visual evidence, which makes it more powerful and harder to ignore.
I knew more than they would put down there in that documentary. You know what I'm saying? You even see me with Puff is standing up right there. You see me down there trying to do CPR on somebody, and that was a 17-year-old kid that died, bro. That was a 17-year-old kid that died. I knew his brother. His brother was sitting there crying, talking about, my mama gonna me. This is the first time I ever took my little brother anywhere.
Terrible, man. Who do you put the blame on for that whole city college show? Do you put it all on Diddy, or is it more people that play the part?
Well, I think Puff cutting security for the outside is a big part. Second of all, the college should have had their security there, and you didn't see none of the college security. And the college should have let the police department know that it was a function of that magnitude that was coming. So it's Diddy and the college and the security and the school.
To get into this documentary, man, because I want to get your point of view, man, and I want you to break it down. There's one part in here where Eric Sermon, he told the story about how he was in the car with Lisa, and Diddy caught him in the car, and Diddy swung him. You seen that part?
Eric Sermon said that Puff swung on him and invited him. He invited Puff to go around the corner, but a lot of people, Kirk Burrows told the story, and I told him, like, because we knew that had happened back in the day, that Puff was putting his hands on Misa. You know what I'm saying? I used to bodyguard Misa, bro. You understand what I'm saying? I used to bodyguard Misa. You know, after I started working for Puff and everything like that, I started working. Misa wanted to still be out. Misa still wanted to go to places. Misa still wanted to be out and about. So she said, Gene, would you look out for me? I said, Misa, you can't afford me. She said, Gene, it's only gonna be for a couple of hours when I go out and stuff like that. I know he's not gonna do nothing if he see me with you. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, all right, cool. All right, Misa. All right, so if I come out for a couple of hours and stuff like that, every time I come out, Misha, it'll be $200, $250 for a couple of hours just for you, Misha. So it was known that Puff had a hand problem, especially when it came to women that he dated. And it was surprisingly that he swung, and like Eric Sermon said, on him. You understand? And then went to listen to some music. That shit was crazy to me. So my whole thing about it is that the Eric Sermon shit, and then he went to listen to Juicy after Nick swung on him. That's some industry shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's some crazy industry shit. The whole thing about when he's talking about the Misa part being in his car and everything like that, and that was the part where is that Puff was putting his hands on Misa, and he should have whooped his ass right then and there, you know, no matter if Misa was just in his car chilling or whatever.
After the footage spread online, people were waiting to hear from Katt Williams, and he did respond. He spoke calmly, saying he had seen this type of behavior in the industry before. For years, he has warned that powerful people in entertainment often operate in ways the public does not see. At the time, many people ignored him or made fun of his comments. But now the footage and documentary are making some of his past warnings seem more believable. Katt said the clips show behavior he already recognized, such as control, ego, and pressure on people around Diddy. He also pointed out how Diddy behaves differently in private moments compared to his public image. According to Katt, this is the version of him that the public was never meant to see. He also praised 50 Cent for allowing these stories to be shared. The footage itself is not shocking because of dramatic action, but because it shows everyday behavior under pressure, which feels more real and revealing.
Diddy, why would you even start recording this? Like, why would you even give us this leverage to even put this thing out? Please give us some tips. Well, I wouldn't call it leverage, but go ahead.
Well, the whole point of him filming this whole thing was because I'm sure that he planned on doing his own documentary. This is an extreme narcissist you're talking about. Extreme. He's sitting there with feds, an eye shot away from his hotel suite, filming his hotel room, and he's looking at them and he's filming it right back. He's literally saying in certain parts, yeah. Make sure you're filming all of this because we need to get some, some cutaway shots.
That's wild.
No, he was literally, did nobody pay attention to that?
Oh, I saw.
Like he said, yeah, make sure you're filming all of this. We need this for cutaways. Like you're sitting here collecting footage, like a director, like an AD.
What does that say to the cameraman that, can anybody be bought? Or, he said, the cameraman said he recorded all this for Diddy, and then of course Diddy got locked up, so.
Yeah, Diddy got locked up and he didn't get paid. That's you. A lot of people seem to have that experience.
I'm telling you.
Dealing with Combs Enterprise, they come in and they work and they don't get paid.
Oh yeah. Oh, we gonna build up to it real quick.
So he was able to sell that footage to whomever he chose. The question is, how did anybody know about it? Like, that's the thing. Like, that's the part that, it's so funny because people they get so excited. But when you've got a lawyer like Mark Agnifilo, who is orchestrating your possible surrender, because as you heard him say in the beginning of the documentary, he was very clear. It's almost the middle of September and there's no indictment. As you heard Diddy say, I've been an exemplary client like you've asked. You said I've been an excellent client. I came here. I did everything you asked me to do. That's what they're literally having this conversation.
Yeah, in that conversation, Diddy was worried about the outlook of the public versus the victim.
The outlook of the public? Oh, he was worried a lot more than that. You don't think? He literally sat there and said, we need comms. He's sitting there talking like an evil dictator. We need comms. We need a way into this conversation. We're losing, he said. We're losing. Losing what? What are we losing? But the key words that he said that were so important were, we need to be able to be speaking to the potential jurors.
One of the most discussed clips shows Diddy meeting fans in Harlem. At first, he smiles and greets them, but after getting into the car, his attitude changes. He asks for hand sanitizer and then says he wants to take a bath. Many viewers found this moment very telling because it showed a clear difference between his public and private reactions. It made people question how genuine his public behavior really is. Another clip shows him talking to his lawyer, discussing legal matters while being filmed. This raised questions about privacy and whether such recordings should have been used. The documentary also includes interviews from former artists, security staff, and assistants who describe life inside Bad Boy Records. They talk about pressure, control, and how the environment could change quickly. People like Kirk Burroughs, Roger Bonds, and Capricorn Clark give personal stories that help explain what life was like behind the scenes. These accounts add context to the footage and show how complex the situation really is.
Thank you, Roger Bonds, for putting it out there. It came to life for y'all. It came to light for y'all that this dude wanted me dead way before I came to you. Because I was having meetings with serious dudes in the street. And he refused to sit down. So what did he do? He tell his security team. He didn't tell the NYPD officers. He didn't tell the Department of Correction officers. He didn't tell none of the parole officers or anybody he had working for him that was officers. He told street dudes who had did dirt in the street. Y'all see me? Y'all do me dirty. Y'all beat him up. He ain't telling me to beat me up. What I look like getting beat up. What a grown man look like, somebody smacking him around, hitting him and all this shit like that. Look, I ain't taking no ass whooping. I ain't took an ass whooping since the doctor spanked me on my fucking ass. I ain't took an ass whooping since my mom and my daddy. When they stopped taking it, I guess I'm got amnesia. I don't know what an ass whooping look like or feel like. What he look like telling somebody to whoop my ass? He didn't tell him that. He wanted me in the dirt and was trying to rock me to sleep. He knew where I was at. Everybody knew on Fridays and Saturday nights, Sunday nights, you would catch me at Sue's Rendezvous in front of the door. Uncle Paulie seen him plenty of times up there. Everybody knew I ran and took care around with K-Sling. Puff came to the Kingdom basketball tournament. I ran the security there. Sent me a wad of money like this. Paul came and said, yo, Gene, Puff wants you to have this, man. He said, give the security something, you take the rest. I said, man, take that shit up out of here. You can't give me a dime for that, man. I know Paul cuffed that shit. Don't care. Me and Jewel was in Sin City, one of the top strip clubs in the Bronx. He sent 5 bottles of champagne over to my table. I looked at Jewel. He's the CEO of Felon Magazine. I said, nigga, you ballin', yeah. He was like, I thought you bought that. I ain't bought. Yo, waitress. Yo. Well, I ain't. Oh, Puff sent this over to your table. I said, send that back. Jules says, I'm drinking this and start popping and passing it to dudes around there. I left from the area and got my own table. You not rocking me to sleep. You never rock me to sleep.
2 jurors from the trial also share their thoughts in the documentary. One of them describes how Diddy and Cassie once appeared to be in love, while another explains that the charges were not simply about what the public assumed. Their comments show how different the court reality can be from public opinion. When all these interviews are combined with the leaked footage, the documentary becomes more than just entertainment. It becomes a deeper look into power, control, reputation, and influence. Diddy's legal team reacted strongly to the release of the clips, saying they were stolen and should not have been shown. They also said it could affect his ongoing appeal process. However, legal experts believe it will be hard to stop the footage from spreading because Diddy was aware of the camera and often directed what was being recorded. This weakens the argument that everything was private.
50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years. The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is ridiculous. And on top of that, the only place he agrees to do the interview, Rob, if you can show this, he goes and interviews with ABC. And there's an Instagram post he put up, Rob. I don't know if you have that or not. If you go on his Instagram account, he goes and does the interview about Diddy's documentary on ABC. And they say the reason why he did it on ABC, it's that one right there, Rob, the one you had it on, is because ABC news station is one of only few stations they're allowed to watch in prison.
The biggest mystery is still how 50 Cent's team got the footage. Some believe it was taken during federal raids, while others think the videographer may have handed it over. There is also a chance that someone connected to the situation shared it for protection or legal reasons. At this point, nobody has confirmed the exact source. What is clear is that the footage has changed how many people view Diddy. It has also increased pressure on others who were connected to him in the past. His legal team is expected to challenge the release, but experts say it may be difficult to fully block it. Since there are no direct confessions in the clips and they were originally filmed with permission, the main impact is likely reputational rather than legal for now.
No idea it was 50s because the footage is very personal in the beginning where he's talking to his lawyer in a hotel room live. The person's recording it, and then across from him in the building, there's cops looking at the hotel room because I guess there was a warrant. Yeah, this is basically like that scene. But let me ask you a question, Pat. I don't want you to have to give it away for people that haven't seen it. What was one of the things that stuck out to you where you were like, oh my
Well, I mean, listen,
God.
I'm gonna say what I took away. You can go do whatever you want to do, and you still want to
Go see
watch
it.
it. So,
Okay.
Rob, can you pull up the characters that were in it? One of the guys was a guy that owned 25% of Bad Boy. Okay, he owned 25% of Bad Boy. When he started Bad Boy, it was between two guys. Okay, I think the guy's name is Kirk Burroughs, if I'm not mistaken. Can you type in Kirk Burroughs to see the face?
Glasses and
Let me see if this is the one. Kirk Burroughs. Yeah, can you go to images to see if that's him?
Yeah,
Kirk
that's
Burroughs.
him.
Okay, so that's him.
Yeah.
He owned 25% of Bad Boy. When they started Bad Boy, he puts 25 under his name, 75 under his mother's name. Diddy does. So 75% of the company's under his mother's name, 25% is under his name. One day he comes up to him, fully ready to take this guy out, says, you have to sign off the 25% to me. He says, I'm not going to do it. He says, you have to do it. He forces him to sign up and gives away the 25% over to Diddy. Okay? Gives away the 25% to Diddy. That's his.
Threatening his life?
He threatens his life, allegedly, to give up the 25%, which he ends up giving up to Diddy. And he says, I'm going to give it back to you. Never gives it back to him. And then later on, when he takes him to court to say, this is my 25%, the court says, no, you have mental issues. You're having challenges here. This is out of control. Boom. Diddy ends up keeping the 25%. Nothing ever happens. He never gets the 25% back. This is the guy that was doing all the deals. Okay.
Katt Williams' opinion carries weight because he has been speaking about problems in the entertainment industry for many years. He has faced criticism and backlash, but he has not changed his message. He believes that powerful people often use their position in unfair ways. When he said that this footage confirms what he warned about, he was not trying to attack anyone personally. Instead, he was pointing to a bigger issue about how the industry works. His message connects with the documentary's theme, which shows how power and image can hide reality for a long time. With the footage now public and more people speaking out, the situation is no longer controlled by a small group. It is now part of a wider public discussion.
He was all what, like, there's a whole part about Diddy where he wanted to hook up with his friends' girls. Whoever his friends' girls were with, he wanted to hook up with.
What about his friends' boyfriends?
That comes
Did a lot
on
of gay
later on.
stuff too, no?
But you know what he does? He finds out who Suge Knight's side chick was in Atlanta. He gives her a $50,000 diamond ring to hook up with Suge Knight because Suge was a boss of Death Row Records. And it's his way of saying, I have to get even with Suge.
Because
So
Suge
he
went up on
buys a $50,000 diamond ring or diamond necklace for this girl, whatever, to... There's a lot to it.
And that beat, you know that beat, because he went, remember, it was the Hip Hop Source Awards where Suge went on stage. It was like, hey, man, if y'all want, your producers dancing all up in the video, come to Death Row. Oh, they hated each other.
And then Diddy gets up on stage and he says, listen, I heard somebody says that if you don't want your, this to get in the videos, here's what I'm all about. I'm about all of us celebrating each other's successes, and I just want to give a shout out to all the winners tonight.
Yeah.
And then behind closed doors says, I got to take this guy
Taking
out.
him out. Wow.
What do you think was? I want to bring up some lyrics. What do you think was Diddy's motivation? Is it money? Is it power?
Evil.
Is it psychopathy? Is it Machiavellianism?
And envy, control, limelight. He has to be the face, and nobody can have it.
Rob Williams.
Envy. He has to be the face. He has to be the limelight. Nobody can have it more than him.
And obviously, he's the reason that he became super famous. He was the producer for
Biggie. And Biggie was numero uno.
Yep.
1 and 2, Tupac and Biggie.
And the guy who was partners with, the guy that brought him up, type in Diddy's first mentor. This is the guy that Diddy went and worked as his assistant at a young age, that
What's
took him
his
in.
name?
Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell takes him to the founder of Uptown Records. And you know what Andre Harrell does? He fires him because he says, Diddy's getting out of control, disrespecting me. He fires Diddy and tells Diddy, you can leave and you can take only one client. And guess who he takes? The only client he takes is, he says, you can take Biggie. Nobody else is coming with you. He allowed Diddy to leave with only Biggie, and that's when he starts Bad Boy, and he gives 25% to that guy and 75% to his mom.
50 Cent's documentary connects personal stories with real footage, while Katt Williams' comments connect past warnings with current events. Together, they have created a major conversation in the entertainment world. The silence from many industry figures also adds to the impact. But the biggest question is still open. Now that so much information is coming out, will the entertainment industry finally address its hidden problems, or will everything be forgotten until the next controversy appears? The story is still developing, and people are watching closely to see what happens next.